Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a very hype character guide on Jack Garland. I am recording this live with my audience with me. Once in a while I do live stream, especially for really hype characters. So those watch me live, you're getting early access. Everybody else will get this about a half hour to an hour after my live stream ends. So if you ever want to see these early, look out, hit subscribe, hit the notification button. Then you'll get notified when I got a live stream coming up if you want to see the character guides early, right? So Jack Garland, just quick little overview on what this character is. He is a damage dealer that brings a unique mechanic to the game, which is negative brave damage. So what that means is through a couple of his buffs, he can basically allow the enemies to go to a negative brave number. And basically, he allows the party to do true HP damage based on that brave number. So he's a very cool, unique character, and we can get a lot of damage out of that, right? We're going to go ahead in this video. We're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres. So we're going to go ahead and start with the calls. Now, his calls actually aren't crazy, but it doesn't matter because y'all are summoning him to be in the party, right? So his 15 call is just going to do damage, and it just doesn't attack max brave up to the caller, nothing too crazy. His LD is just going to do damage, and then it's going to do brave damage up, HP damage up, brave stolen up, and overflow stolen up to the caller. So you get some, it's kind of like selfish buffs to the caller, but it's nothing like groundbreaking, right? It's not like a Raijin call or something crazy like that you want. Speaking of Raijin, I actually do want to throw Raijin on really quick. Let me go ahead and do that. So shout out to Raijin because he's on the banner, and he's probably like one of the best calls in the game. Basically allows your party to just not take damage, which is awesome, right? Let's go ahead and look at Jack Garland himself here. So let's look at the artifacts, and then we're going to go ahead and look at the spheres. Now, his artifacts are not what you would actually expect. You would expect a character like this to be like attack 108, max brave 330, or attack 108, C50. I don't have any artifacts, by the way. I literally just grinded this guy up, haven't farmed anything yet. But what you want for his artifacts is you actually want max brave 330, and then you want his C50, which is going to give attack and max brave. So surprisingly enough, for Jack Garland, his max brave is his most important stat. Attack is still very important, but max brave first, because when his effect that allows him to do negative brave damage, basically the floor, or like how low they can go, is determined by his max brave value. So one buff makes it so that it's like 200% of his max brave is how low they can do. His other buff is 400% of his max brave. So basically, the more max brave he has, the lower the brave the enemies can go. Now you might ask, why do I want their brave to be low? Because he basically deals true HP damage based on that negative value. So it's just like free extra damage based on the value. So the lower you get the max brave, the better, right? All right. So let's go ahead and look at his spheres. So with that in mind, right, we're thinking max brave is important, but so is attack. I would say there's kind of like a pecking order to the spheres. I would say the number one sphere, if you've got it, that you want to put on him is Bart's. Bart's is the fattest max brave sphere in the game at 20%. So if you can get yourself a full Bart's and toss that sucker down, then you're good to go. After that, there are several characters that have attack max brave spheres that you'd want to do. Now, I don't have those for mine. Jack Garland's own is fine, because it is a max brave and attack up. It's going to be up to 5%. Which is still good, right? So it's decent. I'll take the attack max brave up there. And then I've got Saban, which is a 10% max brave. So all my spheres have max brave. But I'd say Bart's is like a number one, like premium option. And then if we look at the other ones, what I can do is I can actually just bring up a list here real quick. And we'll do the attack max brave ones. And I'll just list off what are the really good ones. I normally don't go this extensive on it. But I know because Jack Garland is so hype, you guys all want to know, right? So yeah, Bart's is the premium max brave at 20%. And then for the max brave and attack 10%, which is right here, Sephiroth is a very good one. Actually, Greg, you could do Greg's sphere. Greg's got a good one. Yang's sphere would also work. You cannot do Prish because she's weakness damage. I do not recommend Renoa because it's HP down. And you could do Arden. So Arden, Yang, Gilgamesh, and Sephiroth, those would be your premium attack max brave options that you would want to use, okay? So with that being said, let's not delay any longer. Let's hop into the showcase. Oh, one thing I got to do, I was actually going to do this before I recorded. I got to set the order, because the order here is all kinds of wrong. It's always wrong right when I make a new character. So I just want to make sure I got my skill order in here correctly how I want to. So, oh yeah, this is all kinds of wrong. Oh, all kinds of wrong. Okay, so I like my base. The first four I like. And then after that, I like the EX, and then I do the AA, then I do the LD, and then I do Burst, and then I do Force, and then I go like that. All right, there's my order. All right, I got my order how I want it. So let's go ahead and hop in and talk about this bad boy. The thing with Jack Garland, I'm just going to kind of explain all of his skills and like what he does. He doesn't have like a super particular like way that you have to start the fight. So we'll go ahead and let's just hop in here. And I don't know if I want to go crazy and do the selfie shenanigans. I got plenty of force charging. I guess I'll bring a selfie friend in case I decide I want to put launching on. But let's go ahead and hop in. I'm guessing these enemies are going to just melt away, whether I've got launching or not, right? Sure, do a little download. Probably got to download some assets for Jack that aren't quite in there yet. Alright, so we'll load into the fight here. Alright, so basically, his important buff that he has. So let me just go through this really quick. So he's got a buff called Lightbringer and a buff called Chaosbringer. So let's go ahead and look at our boy right now. So he starts with Lightbringer. So Lightbringer and Chaosbringer, this is the really important buff that allows the enemies to go negative, okay? Lightbringer, which is what he starts with, you refresh it on the EX, and it allows the negative Brave limit to be 200% of the max Brave. To get Chaosbringer, that comes from the BT, and Chaosbringer will replace Lightbringer, okay? So just keep that in mind, but that's one thing that we want to look at, okay? So with our boy Jack Garland, let's just start simple here. Let's just start with the 15 and 35. They're actually very simple attacks, right? So let's just go ahead and do Spinning Slash. And let's see what kind of damage we get here. So good AoE damage. And then Soul Burst Plus is the follow-up, okay? So the way Soul Burst works... Oh, yeah. So we just popped the 15 and we just did like 1.5 mil with Splash. Pretty darn good on just like a button, right? Soul Burst, I should mention. So Soul Burst basically comes from anytime he breaks a target or attacks a broken target, okay? And that comes with the Cycle Warrior buff that we just got right here. And then he's got another buff that makes it Soul Burst Plus. So we'll talk about those as we come to it. So what we just got there was Spinning Slash. It just did that big AoE attack. And then we get a buff called Cyclic Warrior, okay? Now, Cyclic Warrior is basically gives him an attack and max Brave up. And that enables the Soul Burst, which we just saw, okay? Now, that's just the base Soul Burst. Soul Burst Plus comes from something else, but we'll get there. Luna Freya. We want to go ahead and Quick Prayer her boy. Yep, let's Quick Prayer him. And then I'll just do her BT effect just to help his numbers look a little bit better. That's the thing. That was like Garland turn 1 without like burst effects up. And he just popped 1.5 mil like no problem. Pretty good. We are going to have to force charge at some point too, but I just want to get a couple of these base attacks in and then we'll maybe ramp up and get them set up, right? For a really solid force time. We'll maybe bring in some selfie. We'll maybe do that. Alright, so what we're going to do here. Let me see. Oh, I want to get Raijin Call on because these guys can be kind of annoying. Sure, let's put some calls on. Why not? Alright, and let's go ahead and just swap out. Sure, let's swap into Jack. Get Jack a few turns to show off some of his kit, and then we'll start ramping after that and get into force time, right? Alright. Alright, so that free turn, by the way, does the free turn come from him? I'm trying to remember. That, I think, is from... Oh, no, that's from Luna Freya. Sorry. That's from Luna Freya. That's where the free turn is from. But he does, like, during his... I believe this is force time. He gets free skill uses, right? And then Rem's LD also gives him a free turn. So what I'm going to do here is let's go ahead and pop Raijin. That way we just know we're safe. Because these enemies actually have, like, caught me a couple times in showcases. So I just want to make sure, right? All right, let's go ahead and do the 35 next. Actually, with the free skill use, let's just do attack boost up. Just an AA, gives general stats, right? It's like an attack up, max brave up, brave damage limit up. Very good, like you want it on. It helps his numbers, right? All right, let's do Highbringer, which is the 35. Let's look at the damage. Soul Burst Plus, very nice. All right, yeah, 1.5 mil with Splash. Pretty darn good. Now, let's just pause a minute. Look at the enemy on the left. See how it says break, and then it's switching, and he's at negative 153,000 brave, okay? So that's coming from his effect. So that just comes through now as like true HP damage, which is pretty crazy. So on the 35 that we just did, let's finish talking about Highbringer. Just a 5-hit brave HP attack, and then he also gets that Cyclic Warrior, which is that 6-turn buff. So basically the 15 and 35, they're basically refreshing the buff that gives him the free follow-up. So that's really what you want to remember with those, right? Now let's go ahead. I think it's LD time. Let's pop the LD. Let's see the damage on this sucker. Soul Burst follow-up, nice. Alright, so yeah, 1.5 mil with 700 splash. Pretty good. Alright, so that, and it's an auto break, which is really good. And then it does an AoE attack. It does give him a skill use back, a skill 1 and skill 2. So he's going to have a lot of longevity from that. And then he gets a buff called One Guided by the Fool. One Guided by the Fool. Brave damage up, HP damage up, Brave stolen up, overflow up. And then when he breaks or attacks a broken target, he gets an additional Brave and HP damage up and Brave stolen up. And then this is the buff from the LD that gives him the Soul Burst Plus. So this buff combined with the Cyclic Warrior will give him Soul Burst Plus, essentially, right, is what he has. So that's what that did. I think I'm ready to, like, let's do some selfie here. And sure, let's go crazy. And actually, what I might do, no, I don't want to wall first because I'm going to eat up all my buff slots. So yeah, let's Rapture. And then we'll wall after I kind of get stuff set up with Lunafreya. Actually, I don't even need to wall. I think I could just leave Selfie out there because I don't need Remin for anything, right? So I think I'm just going to ramp into it right now, guys. And we're going to go into like Burst, and then we're going to do, so we're going to do Burst Attack, then we're going to do FR, and then we're going to do Burst Phase, I think is what we're going to do. So let's get Lunafreya rolling here. So this will be a little bit boring, but we're going to ramp up. So let's Energy Heal. I might pop off a couple of those. Actually, we're going to Energy Heal, we're going to LD. And then I'm going to get a bunch of free turns from LD, right? Okay. Sure, we'll HP through here, that's fine. Yeah, see that true HP damage come through, that second little bit of damage? That's from the negative Brave. So that's very good. Alright, so we're on LD. So I am going to take the free turn to Energy Heal. And then what I need to do with her is I need to actually get her... Oh, wait, she's in Burst Effect already. Okay. So, yeah, what I want to do then is I need to Quick Prayer on Garland. So he gets the good Quick Prayer. Yep, we want the 4 turns. So he's got the good Quick Prayer, the good Heavy Prayer. So, yeah, at this point, I'm pretty much free to ramp, aren't I? So let's do the EX here. We got to see Garland's EX too, which I'm guessing is going to be pretty darn powerful. And here's the thing. When we're in an FR and we're in a Burst phase, like... the enemies are going to stay negative Brave. Now, the one thing I do want to say as I'm going through this, yeah, look at that true HP damage come through. And you see it works for your whole party, like Selfie did it too. The one thing to keep in mind is he doesn't synergize well with like Unbreak or Rebreak characters. Because here's the thing. If you auto-break or unbreak somebody, you lose the negative Brave. So you have to be careful of pairing him with characters like that. I would try to avoid that or be very choosy over who you're attacking with that. So that's something to keep in mind about that negative Brave mechanic because you don't want to like waste that negative Brave. You want to keep that Brave down. So by resetting them or unbreaking them, you're actually going to lose damage. So just be careful of that with other characters, right? All right, so where are we at here? So I'm just at the point where I'm just going to Energy Heal. If I need to do another LD, I might, but I think I can ramp all the way with what I got here. Yeah, 5 Energy Heals should be enough to get me from 70. So you get roughly 10% a shot. So yeah, we're going to ramp all the way, and then yeah, we're going to have some fun here, guys. We're going to go crazy. And I'm going to guess, just throwing it out there, that these enemies are not going to be long for this world. So we'll see how much of a force time we'll get here. All right, and then one more should do it. All right. We're ready for some fun now. All right, so we'll just go ahead and attack through. And sure, we'll break the enemies back a little bit. Sure, we'll just Diamond Dust again. All right, Garland is set up. And we're ready to go. And I think he's even still got his AA on, which is good. All right, sure, we'll attack through on these free launches. I probably shouldn't because it's going to be overkill for this old Shinryu fight. But that's fine. All right, so we got Garland ready to go. So what we're going to do here is FR is ready, but I'm going to get Burst Effect up first, and then I'm going to FR. So let's go Burst Effect. So this is called Soul of Chaos. Let's see how this bad boy's looking right here. Let's see, Chaos Bringer. Dude, this guy is brutal. He's just like so aggressive, like I'm just going to punch your face out. Alright, so... that was a lot of damage. They didn't show me like the fat number at the end, but that was, we'll just say that was a lot of damage. That enemy on the left just lost like 10% of his health. So that was a pretty decent shot there. So what does his burst actually do? So it does the big attack, gives him the Chaos Bringer buff. So what this does now is it replaces Lightbringer So now what it's going to do, basically don't think of it as even like a new buff. It's just like an upgrade to the other buff, right? So you can't ever have them both on at the same time. So it's max brave and brave damage up 80%. The negative brave damage limit is now 400 of his max brave instead of 200. And then it just replaces the Lightbringer buff. So really what it's doing, the big thing, is you're basically doubling the amount of negative brave you can get on that buff, which is really good. Now, let's go ahead and pop that FR. Let's see what this FR is looking like. With Emperor, of course, it makes total sense. This won't make sense to you watching this video not live, but I was debating on who to book during the live stream because I had to book somebody to get an extra ingot, and I booked on Emperor, so we called it right. Emperor's in the animation there. All right, this is a lot of damage, by the way. Let's show me the number at the end, please. All right, that was a 5 mil launch with a 2 mil splash. Okay. That was pretty, because that was the entrance into Force Time. All right, well, we actually have the EX. So I think we'll pop the EX first and then go into Force Time. But we got to talk about the Force effect and explain all that, right? So we saw a big fat attack there, right? During the Force Time, the Brave damage limit goes up 30% for the party. And then here are the HP damage conditions. So melee Brave damage, 20%. If the target is broken or you break the target, 20%. Target an enemy with negative brave, 30%. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a pretty basic 70%. But with Garland on the team, which he has to be to use the forwards, it's a very easy one to get. The big thing, once again, you have to watch out for is you don't want to unbreak the enemies because you need to keep them with negative brave, right? So just keep that in mind. And if you're planning to not solo the whole Force Time with Jack, then you want to make sure you have other melee damage dealers. You don't want to be using magic damage dealers, right? So let's pop the EX. So this is important because it does refresh Lightbringer if you need to. Now this won't overwrite Chaosbringer. Like Chaosbringer will still be there. We still have the better one. All right, let's see how much damage we got here. This should also be pretty darn good damage. We're barely in Force Time, by the way, and we've already like these guys are being destroyed. Yeah, 6 mil with 2 mil splash. Pretty good. So on the EX, Lightbringer, very simple. It just does the big attack and does the Lightbringer buff. Like, that's it. So that's all that is. So now let's go ahead into the burst phase. And yeah, we're just going to crank out some damage. So let's go ahead. So typically what you want to do during his burst phase is you kind of want to just do his light attacks to start. So just go between like 15 and 35 and then do his stronger attacks at the end, right? So let's do a spinning slash again. And once again, they should all have negative brave. We're getting the soul burst follow-ups. We're launching. Here's the thing, guys. On top of all of this that I'm doing, we still could have off turn, right? Like I could have Cisne chilling over there. I could have Kane chilling over there. I could have Core chilling over there. So this isn't even like the pinnacle of what this guy can do right now. And you can see how it's 15 and 35. We just have constant free turns. So during his Force Time, he gets infinite free skill uses. So like I can just spam these. So what I can do is I can just basically spam these. And then I can just end his rotation with like his EX, his LD, and his FR. So you can just, and the nice thing is when we're spamming these, we're upkeeping our Cyclic Warrior buff, which during the burst phase, I don't think that would go down anyways. But yeah, we're just going to watch the damage go crazy. Yeah, 10 mil launch there. Okay. And yeah, 78%. So the enemies are refreshing their brave. So now they lost the negative brave. So we need to get the negative brave back. So let's go ahead and sure, let's do another spinning slash. And then let's just take a look at what their negative brave is looking like after this turn. Because I haven't really looked at much at the numbers other than that one time I pointed it out, right? Oof, yeah, 11 mil, okay. Yeah, so what, 500k. So his HP is negative 500k and the other one's negative 300k. So that's like true damage we're getting. That's crazy. Let's pop an EX. And then we're going to do LD and we're going to do FR. If the enemies can survive. This damage is crazy. This guy is a beast. Okay. Yep. Yeah, we'll take the true HP damage, thanks. 17 million. Pretty decent. Dude, and we're only 17 million and we're only at like 400% on the gauge. Like 17 mil, that's what we're used to seeing like near the end of Force Time. We're seeing it like very early, right? Sure, let's LD. And then we're going to pop the force attack. And we're not even going to get close to finishing this force time. Like, this is pretty much the quickest I've wiped these guys out in a showcase. Like, they're... And once again, we're leaving damage on the table because we could have, like, Core as our third-party member. If we had Core right now, just ridiculously, these guys are done. Sure, force attack. We're at 576. We still got multiple turns of force time left. And these enemies are just eviscerated. Pretty darn cool character. That's the thing, too, is, like, with as cool as Jack is, and, like, as powerful he is, he's not complicated. This has been one of the easier character guides to do. Like, he's so simple. Just press buttons, do a lot of damage, upkeep a couple of important buffs is all you really got to do. 21 million on that launch. And that enemy's popped. And then we're going to pop this. Let's see what our burst phase total is. Just keeping in mind that one enemy is dead, so we're leaving secondary damage on the table that second enemy would be taking right here. Let's see what we got for our burst. And once again, we could have timed this so that this was later during the force time and had even more damage. So yeah, 112 mil burst. That was like bare minimum, like not optimized. I don't see why this guy can't be pushing like a 2 mil burst, especially if you're doing like 3 enemies that happen to somehow survive the whole thing. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's Jack Garland. He's a little bit nutty. If you like him, definitely pull for him. He's meta defining. He's crazy. I'm going to have fun with him. He's probably going to be my new staple. I think my new staple team, if you're wondering, like, best team in the game, probably Luna Freya, him, and Core. That's probably the team I'm going to run. Core's melee damage. Luna Freya isn't, but the whole idea is she's not really the one you want to take turns anyways. But Core is. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.